Hey there, welcome to day 59 of our BU 365-day challenge. To do one thing every day that improves us. Today is day 59. It is our last day of the segment about emotional well-being, or emotional health and wellness. And so today we're going to talk about emotional continuous improvement. How do we take some of the things we've learned and move forward with them? How do we continually improve? What could we do? And that's our action item today, is ask yourself and share in the comments below, what is one thing that you can commit to doing moving forward to positively enhance your own emotional well-being? Now, emotional intelligence, there's lots of components of it, right? There's self-awareness is the number one thing. What am I feeling? What's going on around me? Self-management, being able to choose how we're going to respond and react in different emotional situations, not just react, right? Choose how we're going to respond. Social awareness, knowing what's going on around us and how we fit into that, as well as relationship management. How do we manage the relationships that we're involved in? Because every relationship has huge emotional implications and interactions. In order to improve our emotional intelligence and feel better about ourselves and interact better and more effectively in our world, there's a 5-step process that they share. And it uncannily matches up with the SOAP framework. Imagine that. The steps that I found, and I believe we talked about it under emotional intelligence, are identify the ideal self. Identify exactly how you want to be, what your goal is, your ideal self. Then identify where you are right now. Sounds a lot like the S in our SOAP framework, right? The story. What is the story I'm telling myself right now about a current emotion, or about an emotion, or about an event or something that's going on that I'm emotional about? What do I want it to be? What would I, if everything were perfect, how would I want to respond? How would I want to be in this situation? Then develop a learning agenda, or develop and look at different possible ways of dealing with the emotion, dealing with the situation. Come up with different options, right? Because there's always a whole lot of different things we could do, not just the first thing that comes to mind that we instinctively react, the way we instinctively might respond to something, react to something. Reaction and response are different to me. Reaction is what you do automatically without thinking about it. Responding is what you do after you've given it even if it's an instant or a couple seconds of thought, but you've selected a response. Reaction is just something that happens. It's like a chemical reaction. Response is something that you choose to do and have control over it. So it's about the amount of control you have over yourself. So that sounds a lot to me like the O in our SOAP framework. What are the options? What are the possible ways I can deal with this particular emotion or feeling? And then we want to experiment and practice, right? We want to test out different things and figure out what works best for us, and then continue to do the things that work for us and stop doing the things that don't work for us. It's probably almost more important to stop doing the things that aren't working for us, because then the world creates a vacuum, right? If we stop doing things that are bad for us and don't work for us, better things will come and fill that void. It's not like there's ever a void in our lives or in our emotions or in our universe. So if we stop feeling bad all the time, it allows room for good to come into our lives. And finally, helping relationships, meaning tap into and be a help, but also tap into people that can help you and you can learn from in terms of improving and moving forward. So finding out, how are you doing? Are you according to other people, does it seem like you're emotionally growing and continuing to improve? And remember, the only person's opinion that it really matters in all of this is yours, because nobody lives inside you except you. So you have to decide, am I getting better? Is what I'm doing working for me? So I'm doing a couple of things moving forward as we come out of this emotional segment. One is I'm committing to doing my mood journal. So first thing in the morning, every morning when I wake up, I want to notice and be aware of what I wake up feeling, what I wake up, what is the first feeling or emotion I feel when I wake up. Sometimes I'm just exhausted. Sometimes I had a dream and it reminds me of a situation and an emotional thing that happened a long, long time ago. That's what happened this morning, that I had totally forgotten about, but it took me back to an old job I had. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. And so it's an emotion, and it's obviously something in my subconscious that wants to be dealt with and let go. So I personally, my action item moving forward is I'm committing to once a day, sometime during the day, documenting in my mood journal how I'm feeling. And the easiest way for me to do that is commit to make it a part of my morning routine. Is as soon as I wake up, what is the first feeling on my way to the bathroom, out of bed? What is the first emotion, the first feeling that I feel? And I'm just going to watch that for a few weeks and see what I learn about myself by doing that. And maybe I'll decide then to turn it to, okay, before I go to bed every night, what is the feeling that I feel? Or maybe I'll do both. But I'm committing to do that so that I don't lose track of the progress that I've personally been making as we've gone through and focused on our emotional well-being. So share in the comments below one thing you will do or incorporate into your life. And maybe it's once a week you'll do your mood journal, or once a week you'll tap into, or maybe every day, sometime during the day, you will consciously notice how you're feeling. Maybe every day at noon. I set alarms for different things during the day, so it'd be really easy for me to pick one of those alarms and say, okay, every day at 11:11, I'm going to notice how I feel. I'm just going to write it down on a little scrap of paper so that I don't forget. And I think it'll be different every day, because I don't feel the same way every day at 11:11 or any other time, right? I don't feel the same way every morning when I wake up. I usually feel good and excited and delighted to have woken up, but beyond that, what feeling do I wake up with? Because I think that sets the tone for the entire day, unless I consciously say, well, that's weird, and I just shake it off and I choose how I'm going to feel during the day. I love Mondays. Mondays are awesome. Have an awesome day. Any questions? Hit me up. Remember, we're not leaving emotions forever just because we're not focusing on it for the next segment of the challenge. If you ever have any questions about it, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day.